Hey guys, Lorcan the Hedgehog here, and welcome back to Saw Month. As I'm nearly close to concluding this month with Jigsaw this Saturday or Sunday. However, I still got one thing left to do with you before Jigsaw, and that's the sequel to Saw the video game, Saw 2: Flesh and Blood. Developed by published by Konami again, and made by Zombie Studios. All this really should be is just a bit of improvement from the first game, with a few issues that I had with Saw 1, right? Well, let's get to the plot. So, although this is going to be a little spoiler for the end of Saw 1, the video game, where at the end of the game you had to take the tap, make a choice to go to either truth or freedom. This game's version is that the freedom choice ends up being the canon story. As that story goes, Detective Tapp saves the people from Jigsaw's asylum, but David Tapp still can't get over Jigsaw and basically says there's nothing to live for and shoot himself to death. As now we follow his son Michael, who's a reporter, and ends up being in the same situation as his father, as now he's kidnapped by Jigsaw and needs to lose murder, I think? I don't know. I don't really know what Jigsaw's motives are in this one either. But there's actually a bit more to this game's little plot, as we follow a guy who seems to have gone on drugs and has Jigsaw, kidnapped him and says that now he has his unknown son. And he needs to either, get to his son or kill himself, either one of the two. Now, there's a reason why I mentioned that one, but let's get to the real problems of this game, because I'm just going to be straight out to you, because I have been straight out before, probably in the first Saw video game review, is that I don't like this game at all. This game is bad. I mean bad. This is not the worst game I ever played, but it is definitely a bad game. Number one is that QuickTime events. There are so many QuickTime events in this game. You either see a crack on the ground, shotguns and new doors. A lot of things are all, all QuickTime events. And it doesn't really help either when you have the combat. What they do to the combat. I know the combat wasn't great in the first game, but at least I could actually move around and hit the opponents. This one has it where an enemy will try to attack you, and it goes button times. You gotta press the button at the right time in order to either dodge or attack the enemy, and this can get extremely awkward at times. And the puzzles are even worse. They're even worse than the first. At least with Saw 1, I completed the game. Saw 2 was so bad, I could just decide I'm not putting myself into this torture. I decided to trade in for something better. This is one of the few times that a game is so bad I actually traded in and got something different. So I do know what happens in the end of this game. It doesn't really matter since we get nothing. But I'll get to the ending real soon, because if you're planning to get this game, please note that the ending's a little different for some players. Now, one thing I will say is that the game does have some stuff that will try to make it bigger than the first Saw game. Like, for one, we actually get collectibles this time. I know Saw 1 definitely had it, but this one actually has to make you do it if you're like a completionist or something like that, where you have to collect case files, audio files, and even 7 Billy puppets, which this is the first time we actually get Billy as a name as the puppet, so thank you for this, I guess, that we finally, get the name of the puppet. But yeah, they're still useless. They're still as useless as the first, except you have to just unlock achievements and all this stuff. a few things I guess they got right is that we got the Saw team back again. We have the Hello Sep team instead of whatever the non-Sep team from the first game. And that Token Bell still comes back as Jigsaw. And this time he actually allowed the people to use his real-life appearance in this game for actual Tron Kramer. Because this still takes place during the events of Saw 1 and 2. So, Sean Kramer's still alive by this point. But let's get to the real big kicker. This is the real kicker that might make some people go crazy. Now, in the end of Saw 1, we can make whatever choice we wanted in the two choices we were given, either freedom or truth, where we could pick one door and the detective tab will figure out the truth, and the other one where he escapes and everyone else escapes. Freedom. This game has a different type of ending choice. Remember I said earlier about the guy who did drugs and had to save his son? Well, there's one point in the game where he has to go through one of these machines that Jigsaw has, where the walls are coming closer and he has to go through a little gap in order to get to an elevator, which could save his life. However, you don't know what your choice will be if you either save him or kill him. And then you go through Michael's story, dealing with corrupt cops, other people from Saw movies getting killed, and other stuff. And then you get to Michael, who's in that same situation, and depending on your choice, you either let him live or die. Yeah, it's one of those games where the choice you made in the beginning affects the end of the game. So if you make the other guy live at the beginning, you're basically dooming Michael from the very start. And then you get a cutscene where Jigsaw says, "Hey, your son's not here. Just leave the building, and I have no traps. Just leave the building, and you'll be fine." And he's like, "I won't let him live in the world with you in it," and tries to attack him. And Jigsaw's like, "Come on, man, really? Okay, sight through the chest. You really should have learned." And the game over, yada yada yada. And yeah, two characters die, and there's no real point. However, if you make Michael live and the other guy die, Michael just falls over. He doesn't even really trip over anything. He just falls off the edge for no real reason. And then Billy the Puppet comes in, just laps him, and then 3 televisions of Billy still appear and telling him, "It's like, hey, you done it. You did the best you could. Now, I'll even let you have a choice. Are you gonna just go and live your days, and I have your father's reports on me. You can use it if you want. Or you can help me with my little issue by being my new pighead." But the problem is, we do not know what his choice is. All we get is him scratching his head and Ron Kramer coming from behind him like, "You wasted your life in this game. Get ready for Saw 3D. Yeah, because this came out when Saw 3D was out in cinemas too. And that's how the game ends. We don't even know what his choice is. We just get, that cutscene where he just counters 4 Billies and a Jigsaw leaves him open for a choice, but we never see his choice, so we're pretty much left. We're given nothing. That's how we end our game. You paid $40 for this. Yeah, so you can see why I don't like this game. It's not a very good game. If you are a Saw fan, at least need it for the collection of Saw merchandise or stuff, go ahead. I bet you'll get through the game better than I could. But overall, I do not like this game, and I would prefer playing the first Saw game any day. So that's about it for Saw 2 Flesh and Blood, and basically nearly Saw month. I only have Jigsaw left, and I'm seeing that on the 28th of October. It's in 3 days, when this review comes out. So I will make it non-spoiler. I won't spoil anything for the people who do want to see this movie. So I will say that just how I personally felt about, Saw coming back after 7 years since the last supposed final movie. But until then, that's really about it for now. There's nothing else I can say. And I'll see you guys for Jigsaw to conclude Saw month. See See you guys later.